Hi, little guy. Grandma Suzanne here. How was your day? Oh my gosh, it sounds like it was wonderful. It was a very nice day here. Um, and beautiful day, not as hot as it seemed like it would be. Um, but I have a book for the heat for you and your mom. But first, I want to get one thing out of the way, and that's the book that we started, I think it was yesterday, called Millions and Billions and Trillions. I want to finish this because I'm a little disappointed in this book. I read it while I was having dinner, and it had a lot of potential, but it kind of didn't meet it. And then at the end, you'll hear, because you know math, so you'll hear. We'll discuss it when we get there. But it's not a bad book. It's just that it seems like it had the possibility to do more to kind of show exciting things and how you can figure out what a million such and such looks like or is like or something. It started that way and then it kind of fell flat. So I don't mean to ruin the book for you by a long shot, because in 5 months your take on it may be a little different than mine. But let's read it and see. Let's finish. So where we were, we had done where they introduced what the numbers look like, and what if you how many people there are in the world and how many people there are in New York and that kind of thing. Um, how many hairs are a million or a billion, and we read all this in the first part. So we're moving now to the place where we left off, and that was here, I think. Um, the world's total population is counted in billions. The world's population is more than 7 billion people. So, and I think they talked a little bit about what a billion is like. Um, this one we can repeat, which is, if you gave someone $10 million, that's a lot of money, by the way, a lot of money, not 1 million, but $10 million every year. If you had $1 billion, you could do that for 100 years. Give $10 million away every year for 100 years. That kind of thing helps you realize, whoa, whoa, that's a big number. And it helps you sort of realize that a million to a billion to a trillion isn't a small jump. So then they do make the jump to a trillion. A trillion is a lot more than 1 billion. 1 trillion is 1,000 billion. 1,000 billion. So as big as a billion is, now we have 1,000 of them in a trillion. And how many zeros is that? 12. 12 zeros. Remember, a million is 6 zeros, a billion is 9 zeros, and a trillion is 12 zeros. It's difficult to imagine a number as large as 1 trillion. And this isn't the way to do it, but it's the way that they chose. There are about 500 popped kernels of popcorn in an average 16-ounce bag. So I think they're talking about the already popped kind, which had lost me right away, because why would you buy already popped popcorn when you just pop it yourself? But see, that's the farmer in me, so already they lost me, but no fault of theirs. So we're back to this. Picture that you buy a 16-ounce bag of, I think, already popped popcorn. There's 500 popped kernels in an average 16-ounce bag. 1 trillion popped kernels would fill 2 billion bags, enough for about 6 bags for every person living in the United States. That's a lot of popcorn. Yes, it may be, but it doesn't really help you conceptualize what a billion is, or a trillion. So I was kind of hoping that it would, but that one doesn't for me. But maybe you've had enough popcorn in your life that it does, but I don't think so. Moving on, I'm saying dumb things now. Let's have a birthday party. Let's have lots of birthday parties, one for everyone in the United States under the age of 15. Let's have pizza, cake, ice cream, and a magician at each party. At $250 a party, with $1 trillion, we could do that every year for about 60 years. Okay, let's see who can conceptualize that, because
nobody can sort of conceptualize how many people in the country. So I just feel like they're missing their opportunity here to really have us see how big these numbers are. Especially because lots of people do have a birthday party every year. So anyway, try to imagine a stack of $100 bills. $1 trillion would make a stack about 700 miles high. You couldn't count to a trillion. You see what I mean when I say it's falling flat? I mean, when I was in elementary school and we had this idea, we we guessed how far it would be if we stacked them up. Also, how far it would be if we stacked them, if we did one bill and another, like lined them up. But going back to the stacking up, we did that, and we then calculated how high it would go. 1 second, and it was a cool way to do that. And I remember in 6th grade thinking, well, I never thought about measuring this. Like how do you do that? Well, you do that on a ruler with a good it's not that hard if it's got, if we're using the centimeter and millimeter size, we can do that, and then multiply, and then you can calculate how many that would be without much difficulty. So I'm kind of disappointed that they just simply put this here and say it would make a stack about 700 miles high. If you ask that to people, could they tell you how many feet that is? Could they conceptualize it? No. So great opportunity. They dropped it on the floor, like threw it away. Okay, lots of editorial content in these math books. Sorry about that. I mean, from me. The amount of money the United States government spends each year and the amount it owes are measured in trillions. The total of all the coins and paper currency in the world is about $5 trillion. I'll just read it without the commentary. Counting to 1,000,000 would take days, counting to 1,000,000,000 would take years, and counting to 1,000,000,000,000 would be impossible. But when people talk about the population of large countries, it's good to know how much 1,000,000 and 1,000,000,000 are. You think? Maybe this book could help us. Sorry, I said I wouldn't do that. When politicians talk about how much our government spends and how much money it owes, it's good to know how much a trillion is. It's important to know about large numbers such as millions, billions, and trillions. This has to be one of the worst books ever. What is with people? It's not impossible to write a good book about math. I'm sorry, little guy. You're the smiling little guy laughing, and I'm sitting here ranting. I'm really sorry. I'll play catch afterwards and drop it a few times, and then we'll laugh. Okay. Author's note. 1,000,000 is a lot. I'm not kidding you. I'm not making this up. This is what it says. Here, proof. 1,000,000,000 is more than 1,000,000. A trillion is even more than that. And there are numbers even greater than a trillion. This is the author's note. 1,000 trillion is a quadrillion. It's written like this. Excuse me, I sneezed. Maybe I'm allergic to lunacy. 1,000,000 trillion is a quintillion. It's written like this. One followed by 18 zeros. 1,000,000,000 trillion is a sextillion. It is written like this. 1 followed by 21 zeros. If you counted by millions, 1,000,000, 2,000,000, 3,000,000, and added 1,000,000 each second, 4,000,000, 5,000,000, so on, it would take more than 30 million years to reach a sextillion. Okay, that's an interesting one. What if something is beyond being counted? Okay, let me just say this. To every adult in the room that might like math, and to little Isaac, who we know likes math, please put your seatbelt on. because this next part, fortunately, it's the last part. You might find it upsetting. What if something is beyond being counted? What if it would be impossible to even guess its number? Anything that numerous is said to be infinite. No, it is not. Infinite is not big. Infinite is not very big. Infinite is not too big to be counted. Infinite could be tiny. You can have something infinitesimally small. Infinite is a completely different concept than too big. Infinite is unable to be counted because it goes on forever. Either keeps getting smaller forever or bigger forever. But this notion that this is what infinite is, and to use the passive tense and think we're not going to notice that you don't know what you're talking about? Really? Anything that numerous is said to be infinite. No, it is not. I'm sorry, but they are not allowed to teach kids the wrong thing. I mean, that would be like me writing a book on basketball and telling you that when you reach a certain level, you don't throw the ball, you kick the ball. No, you don't. The ball always goes in the air in basketball. Or you bounce it on the ground, but you don't ever kick it. So I have no business writing a book that says that. And okay, last thing. The little footnote. The names for large numbers are not the same everywhere. In some parts of the world, what we call a billion is called a milliard. What we call a trillion is called a billion. What we call a quadrillion is called a billiard, and so on and so on. That's enough. This is the book. The book is finished. Goodbye, book. Okay, now, in order to give you some kind of like joy after that, I don't know what to do, but I guess I'll see what's around the table. I could put on this hat. Could do a rap for you. I don't know. I could just play catch. If I find something I can throw. I'm not sure taking off my glasses is the best way to succeed at catch, but anyway, I don't know why I even took them off. Okay, here we go. Let's try to turn this into a humorous thing. Even without glasses, I can see that I look a little strange. Caught. 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 Didn't catch. Oh boy. I don't like this game. Let's eat cookies instead. There must be another game. What other game could we play? Well, hey, this could be fun. No, that would be messy. Never mind. Throwing confetti? I don't think so. All right, we'll play catch again for another minute. But didn't I throw something that was more fun than that? I can't remember what it was. I can't. Well, maybe it's in here. I could play catch with this grapefruit, but this grapefruit looks a little old. So I don't think I will. I guess we're back to this thing. Well, I know I was playing with something else, but I don't remember what it was. Okay, here we go. Catch, 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 catch. Okay, I'll tell you what. Oh, we've only got a few seconds left. Well, I don't know. I could reach for. I'm going to read you another book in a minute. Believe you me, we're not going to end with that one. So anyway, Grandma Suzanne here, checking out. Love you, boy. Love you. Don't worry, I won't read you very many books like that last one. I promise.